Hello everybody, Andy here, normally talking about Kill Team, but today going to talk about something a little bit more generic Warhammer, but I will of course link it into Kill Team and perhaps what could be considered for proxies from this incredible deal from Games Workshop. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. I was browsing Reddit, or more precisely my patrons told me that I should look at this Reddit post. So in case you didn't hear, back at the Skulls event, which I'm going to say was March, something like that, one of those months that begins with an M, they did announce that there was going to be a Dawn of War board game. And that was all we heard. We didn't really know what was in it, etc. We have now had a little bit of a drop. This is not rumor. I assume that these are real things. This is just what's going to be coming. First things first, it's going to be 40 euros. So you can probably therefore get it in Germany, would be my guess, where they normally sell this sort of thing. Or the rest of the EU, I suppose, but not the UK. Just going to throw that out there right now. If you're in the UK, if you're UK bound, hashtag Brexit, we got fucked. Whoops. Anyway, you can get it in the US as well. But basically, here you go. Oh, sorry, I forgot to shrinkify myself. Let me do that for you. Of course, before I do talk about this properly, I would like to say that, hey, if you're a subscriber to this channel, I'd like to give you a big double hello. Wow, so wholesome, truly the wholesomeness knows no bounds in the world of Glass Half Dead. Consider subscribing, as that is a subscriber-only benefit. Let's crack on. So here you go. You see, you get a board game. This is relatively standard for GW. They seem to release like one a year. Cool. This is this year's. It's the Dawn of War board game. I'm going to have a quick look at this and discuss what it is. But first, let's just get straight to what you actually get in this board game. Here you go. It's available at Target and Barnes & Noble. There you go. So in the US, that's where you want to buy it from. It would probably cost $50. And what do you get for that $50? $150 is what this would cost just for the models. If you bought the models alone, you get the full Honored of the Chapter set. You get the Chaplain, you get the, I don't know what any of the rest of them are. There's you get the 3 Eradicators, you get the 3 Blade Guard veterans, you get the Ancient with Chapter Banner, you get the Chaplain, and I don't know what the other guy is. But there you go, you get him as well. So that is normally £100 in the UK. I think it's $140 in the US, is that right? And you're going to be able to get that in here from this bad boy for, my assumption would be $50. In the past, when they've done this sort of thing, I'm specifically thinking of the Combat Arena Lair of the Beast. It has been outrageously cheap. I think that was like $35. It was insane. Like, I managed to get 2 of them shipped over, thanks to my Patreon, Erion. I managed to get 2 shipped over from the US. And I said to him, oh, you know, don't forget that if it goes over like $100, which this definitely will, of course, I have to pay income tax or like import fees. He's like, it's $70 for 2 boxes. I was like, what? It was insane. We do not get these sorts of deals often from GW. So there you go. That's all you need to know. If you wanted to know how to get a good deal, how to get these awesome models for a third of the price. When this releases, we don't know when it's going to be releasing yet. Buy this if you're in the US or if you're in the EU. Definitely Germany. I don't know where else is going to release it. I would hope Poland, because I go there regularly and I might have to pick a few up, if you know what I mean. Okay, cool. If you're in Poland and you know where this is releasing, please tell me. Thank you. Okay, we then have a quick look. That's that done. I'm now going to have a quick talk about what the board game might look like. And then what can we actually do with these models from a kill team perspective? If you're a 40Ker, you already know these are just models you can use. But if you're a kill teamer, what can you do with some 40mm based Space Marines that are not instantly looking like they are kill team models, right? That's the question. If you have never played one of these games from GW, you might think, what's going on here? Like, what is this? So basically, from a business perspective, it does appear that GW is always trying to get in on that incredibly large board game market, because Warhammer is not a board game. It does not attract the board game crowd, but the board game crowd is very big. And so they would like to get a slice of that cake, a piece of that pie. I can't think of any other synonyms, but add them in there, thank you. And so every year they kind of release what to the wargamers seems like an incredibly cheap thing. And we all look at it, we're like, oh my God, can I buy 10? Whereas a board gamer or a kid looking in Barnes & Noble or a teenager on the way to the mangaka section, will look at this and they will see, oh, that's kind of expensive, but the artwork looks cool, and I've heard about the Warhammer thing. I'm a board gamer really, but like maybe I could do something with that, I guess. And they want to capture, those people on the assumption that yes, this is kind of, I'm not going to say it's an actual loss leader, but it's a loss leader in obviously what they normally sell Honor of the Chapter for, and they hope that they convert, 1%, 10%, whatever they're shooting for, of board gamers that buy this at an incredibly low cost into full Warhammer Wargamer players. That's their angle. So the games generally are pretty decent. I've got to say, I've only played a few of them, so I can't say too much. But if you just want a quick little board game dungeon crawl thing, they all have different rules, but they're all relatively solid, and they're, fun to play through. They're very low effort, low cognitive load. You've got all your cards as you would expect from a board game. That's pretty nice. It looks like, I will say, if I may, this looks nothing. This isn't Dawn of War at all. I think from that perspective, this makes no sense. Why would you call this Dawn of War? What are you doing? However, I say that in an upcoming Kill Team video, you're going to hear me slagging GW off. But why don't they tie in to their big releases like Space Marine 2 more often? How is there not a Space Marine 2 Kill Team? Yes, we had a quick PDF, but where's an actual Kill Team? Where is the box that someone from Space Marine 2 comes and immediately has a full game to play in Kill Team? It's a brain dead maneuver. It's super easy. It's money in their pocket for nothing. Where is that box? They don't do it. Where's the Warhammer Total War boxes? Where's the Dawn of War boxes? Well, they've given us the Dawn of War box. And buddy, that ain't Dawn of War. This is not Dawn of War at all. I don't know what they're thinking. This is a small dungeon crawler. There you go. Fine. I would assume that these numbers round the board are where your enemies are going to spawn in. You draw one of these cards. That gives you a certain number of blips that you can spawn at these locations. Presumably, these cards will have one of these symbols up here, I would assume, which can be any of these data cards, which are going to be your enemy orcs. And it will say, whatever, A4, and you put down X number of blips on that tile, and that's it. And then the enemy can fight them, and it will actually represent one of these. There you go. Total guess, to be clear, but that's what I would assume. I did try zooming in on this. I can't really see what's what. We can zoom in a bit more if we fancy it. There you go. Cool. I can't make any of that out. I don't care too much. It's fine. This is your health points at the bottom. There you go. It's fine. Anyway, of course, the key here is it's only sold at Target and Barnes & Noble in the US. It will be sold at other places in EU. But we get these. Okay, Kill Teamers, what models can these be? First things first, if you see this on the shelf, you should buy two. One for yourself and one to put on eBay for when this inevitably sells out immediately. Okay, nice. Now, with that said, what can you turn this team into? For Kill Team now, this is purely Kill Team, okay? So I think that, first things first, these are just cool models, okay? So I want to be clear. You don't have to make everything a Kill Team project. These are just cool Space Marines, and Space Marines are ultimately pretty damn cool. And these are expensive, cool Space Marines. Therefore, you should buy them. That's step one. And then they could just be a fun hobby project for you. Nice. However, if, like me, you're Kill Team pilled, Kill Team brained, whatever, and you wanted to make everything a valid Kill Team, because then you buy it, you get to do the hobby, and it's a valid Kill Team, right? So first things first, all of these are on 40mm bases. So what team is on all 40mm bases? Oh, right, Raveners. Cool. So first things first, could this be a Ravener Kill Team without any conversions? It's a stretch. If I'm honest, it's a stretch. First things first, Eradicator. Okay, that's your Venom Spitter. Nice. Then you've got a bunch of different looking dudes. So, I guess guy with the shield, that's your Wrecker. Guy with the banner, that makes sense as your leader. He's kind of leading the charge. And then you've got, I guess you could say, guy holding up the thing is your Tremor Scythe. I don't know. Or maybe the guy with the incredibly large sand timer is your Tremor Scythe, because his big thing is he has an interrupt, which obviously interrupts your timing, and he's got a big thing that is like, that's your time. Your time is up. I interrupt, you know? And then the other guy's just the Fell Talon, who's, instead of poisoning you, he's inflicting you with his faith. I don't know. So that's kind of like, you know, just straight out the starting blocks. You're using all 5 different models. It's a bit of a stretch. I'm not going to lie. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's doable. The alternative, of course, is that you want to make this into an Angels of Death team. You like Angels of Death? Nice. But you think they're a bit bland. And you know what? You're right. The Angels of Death models, as has been thrust into stark contrast, are not the worst models. Thank you, what's it called? Not Kill Team. Space Marine Heroes begins with a V. Those new ones that look really boring, if we're being honest with ourselves. Which just highlights that actually Angels of Death aren't too bad. But maybe you want to make them even cooler. How do you make them even cooler? You use better models, because there's so many good non-generic Space Marine models. And these are some of them. So first things first, Eradicator. You can never run your Sniper and your Heavy Bolter at the same time. Boom, Eradicator, locked in, done. Keep him on a 40mm base. He is your heavy weapon, so aka your Sniper or your Heavy Bolter, when you want him on there. Nailed it, smashed it, good job. Okay, we then will pick one of them to be Justian. It's a bit of a tough one. If I'm honest, I would probably pick the Banner Bearer to be Justian. You can argue that the banner there is his Iron Halo. But the actual reason I would say he should be Justian, even though he's not equipped as Justian, it's because you can't miss him. First, he's going to be on a 40mm base, so you can't miss him regardless. But, yeah, that banner is just, it's so big and obvious. It's like, oh, okay, that's my leader. Cool. It almost doesn't matter what his other weapons are. He is the leader. He's Justian. So that's 2 down. You then need 4 models. Now, I'm going to be honest, you just use 4 of the models, and you say they're all Assault Intercessors. That's not terrible, if I'm being honest with you. Cool. Now, so I think that's actually the way to run this. I don't think you do anything else. I think you keep one Eradicator on a 40, you keep the Ancient with Banner on a 40, and then you just take the Justicar, that's his name, I don't know what he does actually. The Justicar, the Chaplain, and 2 of the Banner Ancients, no, what are they called? Blade Guards. And put them on 32s, and that is a legitimately pretty damn valid Angels of Death team. And they're going to look so much better than the generic Angels of Death team. It also leaves you with one chapter, I've just said their name, Ancient Blade Guard. 1 Blade Guard still on a 40, and 2 Eradicators still on 40s. If you really wanted, you could take 1, 2, both, 1, whatever, of the Eradicators, put them on 32s and say that these are my normal intercessors. You could say that they are just, you know, because they are very obviously on a 32mm base instead of a 40mm base, and they have a gun, they are clearly your intercessors. That makes total sense for everybody. I don't think anybody would question it. You could take one of the Blade Guard, put them on a 32, say, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing at that point. But yeah, so I think that actually this is a relatively valid Angels of Death team as well. Likewise, if you follow that same approach, you could make it a Legionary team in the same way that you can make your standard Angels of Death team. Legionary, Nemclaw, not so much Phobos. Those are the only others, aren't they? Yes. You could do that as well. There you go. So should you, as a kill teamer, go and buy this box? Yes, my God, if I manage to see this box on the shelf, I'm buying 2. Now, for my UKers, which is like 3 of you, because you're all American. Hi. Is this ever coming to the UK? Not on its initial release, assuming that GW follows what they've done in the past. However, in the past, what they have done is that every box they have done that is US or EU only has had a very limited release run in the UK, like 6 months to a year later. So I know they did that with Combat Arena or Combat Lair, whatever it's called. So we would assume that this will get a release in the UK, but we don't really know when, and it's always possible that GW doesn't actually do that this time, even though they've done it in the past. Cool. All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you soon. Have a good one. Oh, but if you made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow. So wholesome. Thank you so much for watching. That's for you for free. You don't even have to subscribe and like the video for that one. But if you do want to leave a comment, please do. That would be awesome.